Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at some really interesting research about adrenal gland tumors.
Yeah.
Specifically, these aldosterone-producing adenomas,
Right.
APAs.
Maybe.
And this research comes from Kyushu University,
Okay.
and it was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. So
Yeah.
pretty prestigious.
Yeah.
And basically what they found has really sort of changed how we think about these tumors. It's not just about high blood pressure anymore. We're really talking about a whole new level of complexity
Right.
that is giving us some really exciting possibilities for treatment.
It's kind of like, if we thought about it like a small town that we're looking at,
Okay.
and we thought, oh, this town is really quiet, not much going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realize, oh, there's this whole hidden metropolis.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like bustling with activity.
Yeah, hidden metropolis.
Like we just couldn't see before.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to the metropolis, let's just make sure everybody is on the same page about what are these adrenal glands.
Yeah, so adrenal glands, think of them as your control towers in your body.
Okay.
Small but mighty.
Mm-hmm.
They sit right on top of your kidneys.
Okay.
And they're responsible for producing a whole bunch of different hormones.
Right.
Cortisol, which helps you respond to stress.
Mm-hmm.
Some sex hormones.
Yeah.
And a variety of other things.
And of course, aldosterone,
Right.
which is the star of the show today.
Yes. Aldosterone is really important for maintaining your blood pressure
Right.
and your electrolyte balance.
Yeah.
But when we have an APA,
Yeah.
things go haywire.
Okay.
This tumor's just pumping out aldosterone.
Yeah.
Way too much of it.
Uh-huh.
Leading to a condition called primary aldosteronism.
Right.
And this is a big contributor to high blood pressure.
Yeah.
It affects about 5 to 10% of cases.
Wow. And that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing untreated APAs,
Yeah.
not something you want to just leave alone.
Definitely not.
Right.
Untreated, it's not just about managing your blood pressure.
Okay.
We're talking about increased risk of some serious complications,
Okay.
like heart disease,
Uh-huh.
diabetes,
Wow.
even weakened bones.
So the stakes are really high here.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've always known that surgery is the solution.
That's been the traditional approach
Yeah,
for
right.
decades.
Right.
Surgery has been the go-to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like
Okay.
using a sledgehammer when what we really need is a scalpel.
Okay, so this new research is showing us why maybe we need a more precise tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, what is it that they actually discovered?
Well, so they focused on a specific type of ATA.
Okay.
And this is one that's caused by a mutation in a gene called KCNJ5.
KCNJ.
KCNJ5.
Okay.
And these mutations, they tend to cause more severe symptoms. They cause larger tumors.
Yeah,
But we didn't really understand why
right.
until now.
Okay, so they were looking specifically at these KCNJ5 tumors.
Exactly. And they were looking at like the inner workings of them.
Yeah.
So using some really cutting edge techniques, they were able to create this really detailed map
Uh-huh.
of all the different cell types inside the tumor,
Wow.
which is something that had never been done before.
Okay.
So it's like we're finally getting a blueprint of the enemy's fortress.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
So what did this blueprint reveal?
So it turns out that APAs are not just this uniform mass of cells
Yeah.
like we used to think they were.
Mhm.
They're actually composed of at least 4 distinct cell types,
Wow.
each with its own role to play.
Okay, so more like an ecosystem than a single function factory.
Right. It's more like a diverse ecosystem.
Oh, wow. Okay, 4 cell types.
At least 4.
So not just aldosterone.
Right.
What else is going on in there?
So they found these stress-responsive cells,
Okay.
and these can develop into either aldosterone-producing cells
Mm-hmm.
or, surprisingly, cortisol-producing cells.
Wait, cortisol?
Yeah.
That's our main stress hormone, right?
It is.
What's it doing in an APA?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
That's the thing that is so interesting about this.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Okay.
The presence of these cortisol-producing cells helps explain why some patients have symptoms beyond just high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
Remember we talked about weakened bones.
Yeah.
Too much cortisol can have those effects.
So it's not just the aldosterone going rogue here.
No,
This tumor is multi-talented.
Exactly.
And not in a good way.
Exactly. And that's just 2 of the 4 cell types.
Okay, so we're not even done yet.
Not even close.
Okay, so tell me, what are the other 2 doing in there? Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me, what are the other 2 doing in there?
Well, those cortisol-producing cells, they can actually transform
Okay.
into another cell type
Okay.
called stromal-like cells.
Stromal-like cells.
Yeah.
Remind me, what are those?
So stromal-like cells,
Okay.
think of them as like the construction crew of the tumor.
Oh, okay.
They form the supportive framework,
Okay.
help with nutrient supply. Essentially, they're enabling the tumor to grow and spread.
So it's not only producing all these hormones,
Right.
it's building itself a little empire.
Exactly. It's building its own
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And then there's the fourth cell type.
Okay.
And this one is really fascinating.
Okay.
They found an abundance of lipid-associated macrophages
Macrophage.
within the tumor.
Those are part of the immune system, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they supposed to be fighting off bad guys?
Well,
Not hanging out in a tumor?
yeah, you'd think so.
Right.
That's what makes this discovery so interesting.
Okay.
It seems that these particular macrophages,
Mm-hmm.
they might be playing a more complex role
Okay.
and potentially a nefarious role.
Okay, so maybe instead of fighting the tumor,
Yeah,
they're helping it.
that's a possibility.
Oh, wow.
So they could be influencing hormone production.
Uh-huh.
They could be contributing to tumor growth
Okay.
or even suppressing the immune system's ability to fight back.
Wow. So they're like double agents or something?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay.
But we need more research to figure out exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, this is getting complicated.
Yeah,
We've got the stress-responsive cells.
right.
We've got the aldosterone-producing cells. We've got cortisol in there.
Yeah.
We've got the stromal-like cells building the house.
Right.
And now we've got these macrophages
Right.
that are maybe not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's a whole ecosystem in there.
It really is. And that's kind of the big takeaway here,
Yeah.
is that it's not just this lump of cells churning out one hormone.
Yeah.
It's this dynamic,
Okay.
interconnected system.
Okay, so how do we even treat something like this?
Right.
Is surgery still the only option?
So this is where things get exciting,
Okay.
because now that we understand all the different players
Mm-hmm.
and the roles that they're playing,
Yeah.
we can start thinking about much more targeted treatment strategies.
Okay, give me an example.
So for example, let's take those lipid-associated macrophages.
Okay.
If it turns out that they really are contributing to tumor growth,
Mm-hmm.
we could develop drugs
Mm-hmm.
that specifically target and neutralize them.
Okay, so instead of just attacking the whole tumor with surgery,
Right.
we could shrink it by going after these macrophages.
Yeah, you got it.
Wow.
It was a much more precise approach,
Right.
potentially with fewer side effects.
And in some cases, we might not even need surgery.
Exactly.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Are there other cell types that we could target in this way?
absolutely. So remember those cortisol-producing cells?
Yeah.
Now that we know they're in there,
Yeah.
we can start looking for ways to block
Mm-hmm.
that excess cortisol production.
Okay.
And that could help manage some of those other symptoms,
Right.
like the bone weakening.
Yeah.
That goes beyond just blood pressure.
So we're treating the whole patient
Exactly.
and their symptoms.
we're treating the whole picture.
That's amazing. Okay. But how realistic is all of this? Is this really the future of how we're going to treat APAs, or is this just a hopeful possibility?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and it's a very promising one.
Yeah.
But like any new approach,
Oh.
there are challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time.
Right.
It takes research.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of investment.
Okay, so it's not like we're going to have these new treatments available tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Okay.
But the fact that we have this deeper understanding now,
Right.
this roadmap of the cellular landscape,
Yeah.
that's a huge step.
Yeah.
It gives researchers a very clear direction
Okay.
to focus their efforts.
So this research is like a launch pad
Exactly.
for a whole new era of APA treatment.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like a launch pad for
Yeah.
a whole new era.
Okay, so this study focused specifically on the APAs with the KCNG5 mutation.
Right.
Right? But there are other types out there.
There are.
And who knows what they're doing.
Exactly. And that's kind of where it gets really exciting.
Oh.
Because if APAs are this complex,
Uh-huh.
what about other hormone-producing tumors?
Like what?
So like pituitary tumors,
Okay.
thyroid tumors.
Uh-huh.
Could they be harboring this same kind of cellular diversity?
You're blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So this research might have implications way beyond just APAs.
Absolutely could change how we think about and treat
Wow.
a whole range of endocrine tumors.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Sure.
What does all of this mean for the person listening right now?
Right.
Why should they care about all of these cellular intricacies?
Because it gives us hope.
Okay.
For too long, people with APAs
Right.
have had limited treatment options.
Yeah.
But this research
Yeah.
opens the door to a future
Okay.
with more personalized treatments, more effective treatments,
Yeah.
and potentially even preventative therapies.
Wow. So it's not just about understanding the science. It's about empowering patients
Exactly.
with the knowledge.
It's about giving people hope for a healthier future.
It's like we've been handed a new lens
Right.
for looking at these tumors, and suddenly we can see everything.
We can see the bigger picture.
Yeah, and I'm sure for patients and their families, that hope is everything.
Absolutely. And it's not just a passive hope.
Okay.
It's a call to action.
What do you mean?
So this research empowers us to ask more informed questions, advocate for more research funding,
Right.
and ultimately push for better treatments.
So it's not just about waiting for that next breakthrough.
Right.
It's about being active
Yeah, get involved.
in this whole process.
Exactly. And that participation can take a lot of different forms.
Yeah.
So you can support research organizations, you can participate in clinical trials,
Right.
or even just stay informed about the latest developments.
So knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
I like that. And it feels like we're really on the cusp of something big here.
It
Like
does.
the research world has been handed a decoder ring
Yeah.
for these tumors, and now the secrets are starting to come out.
It's a really exciting time to be in the field.
Yeah.
I mean, the pace of discovery is just accelerating. And I think we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe in a few years we'll be doing a deep dive
Right.
on a brand new, highly effective treatment
I would love that.
for APAs, all thanks to this research.
That's the deep dive I want to have.
Yeah.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. So I think the big takeaway for me is that APAs and maybe other endocrine tumors are way more complicated than we thought.
They are.
It's not just too much of one hormone.
Right. It's this complex interplay
Yeah.
of all these different cell types.
Yeah.
The tumor microenvironment,
Right.
the unique characteristics of each patient.
And with that understanding
Right.
comes the power to develop these personalized and effective treatments.
It's about going beyond just managing symptoms
Yeah.
and really getting to that root cause.
So for anyone out there listening who's maybe dealing with an APA
Yeah.
or knows somebody who is,
Right.
don't lose hope.
Absolutely.
This research is really promising.
It is.
It shows that science is constantly moving forward, and with every breakthrough,
Yeah,
we're getting closer to that brighter future.
absolutely. And remember, you're not alone in this.
Yeah.
There are so many researchers and doctors and advocates
Right.
working really hard to find solutions
Yeah.
and to improve the lives of everyone affected by APAs.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I want to thank you for joining us on this exploration.
It's been my pleasure.
And until next time, keep those minds curious
Yeah.
and those questions coming.
Keep asking questions.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.
See you then.
And I'm sure for patients and their families, that hope is everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just a passive hope.
Right.
It's a call to action.
Okay, what do you mean?
I mean, this research really empowers us to ask more informed questions,
Okay.
advocate for more research funding, and ultimately push for better treatments for everyone.
So we're not just waiting for that next breakthrough.
Right.
We can be active participants.
Absolutely. Get involved.
Yeah.
You know.
And this whole journey of discovery.
Exactly. And that participation can take a lot of forms.
Right.
You can support research organizations. You can participate in clinical trials. You can even just stay informed about the latest developments.
So knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
I like that. And it really does feel like we're on the cusp of something big.
I think so.
Like the research world has been handed this decoder ring for these tumors,
Yeah.
and now all the secrets are coming out.
Yeah. It's a very exciting time to be in the field.
Yeah.
The pace of discovery is accelerating,
Right.
and I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
And who knows, maybe in a few years we'll be doing a deep dive
I hope so.
on a brand new, highly effective treatment.
Yeah, that's the deep dive I want to have.
I know, right? All thanks to this research.
For sure.
So I think the big takeaway for me
Yeah.
is that APAs and maybe even other endocrine tumors are way more complicated than we thought.
They are.
It's not just, too much of one hormone.
Right. It's this really complex interplay
Yeah.
between these different cell types,
Yeah.
the tumor microenvironment,
Right.
the unique characteristics of each patient.
And with that understanding
Yeah,
comes the power to develop these really personalized and effective treatments.
absolutely. It's about going beyond just managing symptoms
Right.
and getting to that root cause of the problem.
So for anyone out there listening who's dealing with an APA or knows someone who is, don't lose hope.
Absolutely.
This research is so promising.
It really is.
It shows that science is constantly moving forward. And with each one of these breakthroughs, we get a little bit closer to that brighter future.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone.
Yeah.
There is a whole community of researchers and doctors and advocates
Right.
who are working so hard to find solutions and improve the lives of everyone affected by APAs.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. And I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me
on this exploration.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep those minds curious.
Keep asking those questions.
And those questions coming.
Yeah.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by To-Do Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.